Alright, this is Vegeta8259 again, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the 1:144 scale high grade O Gundam. And this is the newer release of the O Gundam, and I'm actually really glad I waited and got this version, because initially I was going to get the first release of the O Gundam. That's the colorful one. And I was going to paint it in this color scheme because I like this one better for some reason. But I'm glad I waited and got the second release because you get these nice GN particle effects, which Bandai has dubbed the GN Feather. So that's really nice. Anyway, first before we get to the kit, I just want to show off the really nice box art. It's the same pose that we saw O Gundam in the first episode of Gundam 00. And just really gorgeous box art in my opinion. Anyway, now on to the model kit itself. It's the colors are, I guess they would be its rollout color scheme. It's almost the same as the rollout Exia model kit. Got a it's actually not white, it's that very light gray that Bandai likes to use on some model kits. And then it's got about a 50% gray for the torso, and then a slightly darker gray for the joints and hands and feet and things of that nature. Oh, and for the weapons as well. And then it's got two red parts, one for the face, which the only part that shows is the chin, and the center part of the V-fin. These yellow parts here are actually stickers, just because the way it was molded, the colors were made up for the original version, which had the red, white, blue, and yellow colors. So I believe these panels on the skirt armor are white, I think, or this off-white color, but they just give you these yellow stickers. Same thing for the V-fin, and they have them on the back as well. And he has one clear piece for the little bubble over the GN drive, although you can barely see it, just those two little pieces that peek out from around the cockpit hatch. Anyway, also got a sticker for the eyes, and I think that's about it. Other than that, this is what it's going to look like straight out of the box. I haven't done any painting or panel lining to this kit yet. So, for articulation, it's actually really nice. The head is on a double ball joint. The neck is actually just a solid polycap with a ball joint on each end. So, obviously, you can go 360. You can get the chicken head action. Go side to side, forward and back. I find that the head is a little bit loose, but you can probably fix that just by stiffening up the joints with a little bit of super glue. The torso is got several joints in it, but oh yeah, it's pretty movable. More movable than your average high grade anyway. It's got a joint at the middle of the torso, and then it's got another joint at the waist, so you can rock forward and back and side to side like so. And let's see, I haven't tried to go 360. You'll have to pull it out a little bit, but it will go 360, and then you can just push it back down. The arms have a little joint inside the torso where the shoulders can come out and go forward a little bit. Can't go back anywhere, but the shoulders can obviously go 360. They can go out about that far, actually pretty high. There's a rotation below the shoulder joint. It's got double jointed elbows that bend about that far. And of course he's got the regular high grade non-posing hands that are just two pieces on a ball joint so it can rotate and wiggle. But good enough, I guess, seeing as how this is such a small scale. I'm used to working with 1:100 scale model kits, so I don't get 1:144 scales very often. Anyway, on to the skirt armor. Now originally when you get the kit, the two front skirts are going to be one piece, But lately Bandai has been making them where it's got like a little double ball joint between them, and you can just take your little cutters or an X-Acto knife or probably even a pair of scissors if you wanted to, and just cut those skirt armors apart, and they stay in nicely while being individual. So that's a nice touch. I'm glad Bandai's been doing that. The side skirts are on ball joints as well, but I find they are extremely loose. They is actually a little polycap ball on a peg that you stick into the side skirt armor, and it's got a little socket right here, but man, these are loose. I mean, they just wiggle around just by shaking the kit like so. The back skirts do not move, although there is a little sliding mechanism back here where the middle part can slide up to reveal a hole that you can insert the peg for the action base, which I will get to later. Next is the legs. He's got these nice hip joints they're not ball joints, it's actually a peg system. So the legs can go forward and back as far as the skirt armor will let them. And given that the side skirts are going to pop off, the legs can go all the way 90 degrees out to the side, which is great if you want your Gundam to do gymnastics poses. And there's rotation below the hip joint, double jointed knees that can go pretty much a full 180. And down at the ankles we've got a peg joint that's up in the leg that lets it go forward and back and rotate. And then there's another joint down in the foot that lets it go side to side and forward and back a little bit. And this ankle armor is actually put on here kind of funny, but I guess it works. It can rotate and go up and down by itself. It's on a little ball joint in there. So, really nice articulation for this guy. I think Bandai really wanted to make these 00 1/144 scales as posable as they possibly could. Anyway, you also get the shield, which is nothing really special about it, but I guess it's pretty nice. Just put it in his hand, then bring it over onto the arm. It doesn't really click into place, it just kind of sits there, so if you were to have him on the action base like this, it might be kind of hard to get that shield to stay on because it kind of tends to just fall off. Anyway, oh, I forgot to mention the shield rotates on that little arm mount. You also have O Gundam's beam rifle, which is rather small compared to most of the beam rifles from other mobile suits. It almost looks like a large handgun. So yeah, pretty much like the shield. Nothing special, but it works pretty well. Nicely detailed. You also get a beam saber, which is mounted on the back here, but you do not get a blade, which I find extremely puzzling, because the first release of the O Gundam had a blade for its beam saber. In fact, it had 2 blades, even though the O Gundam only has 1 beam saber. So if you've already got that one, then you can just use that extra blade for this one. But if you don't, you're out of luck. I believe the blades from the beams of other releases in the Gundam 00 line will fit in there. This is the only 00 1/144 scale I own, so I can't really test it out. The blade from my high-grade RX-78 Gundam will not fit in there. It's too small, so I'm kind of out of luck when it comes to that. Anyway, you do get a couple extra pieces, basically just from the initial release of this kit. The little backpack here, which you could actually take out this GN drive and then put the backpack in there and replace it if you wanted to. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to the GN feather. This is my favorite part of the review. You take the cap off the end of the GN drive. You've got the GN feather here, it's just a big piece of plastic. And you'll line up the holes in the GN feather along with the holes in the GN drive. Then put that cap right back on there. And it came out. I gotta hurry, I got less than a minute to go. And there we go. I got a nice GN feather effect, and you can slide open that little action base hole on the back skirts, put it in, and if you can pose them in a similar fashion to what Bandai had on the box art, you can have a nice little O Gundam diorama, kinda. Alright, there we go. So, that is the high-grade O Gundam 1/144 scale. I would definitely recommend this. I actually would recommend it over the initial version, just because of the GN feather. So, that's it for this review, and I'll see you guys next time.